chosen one. There's a reason they can't find peace after what they did to you. Because when they wronged you, they didn't just hurt a person. They interfered with divine order. You were sent as a blessing, a mirror, a test. And instead of honoring your light, they tried to break it. But here's the thing about divine energy. It doesn't need to retaliate. It simply reflects. Now the reflection is catching up to them. Their mind, their dreams, their spirit, all echoing with the energy they thought they escaped. This is not revenge. This is divine correction. So if you've ever wondered why your silence feels louder than any closure, it's because the universe is speaking for you now. Every action that was meant to harm you has returned as their lesson. Every tear you shed has become your elevation. Every moment you chose peace became their karma. Here's how they're now haunted by the way they treated you. Not because you wished it, but because divine balance always arrives on time. 1. Your spirit still echoes in their mind. They thought walking away from you would silence your energy, but they didn't understand. Your presence doesn't fade. It reverberates. It lingers in the corridors of the soul, echoing like thunder, long after the storm has passed. Now they see your face in their dreams, but it's not nostalgia. It's remembrance. They hear your voice in their quiet moments, not because they miss you, but because your vibration has become imprinted on their energy field. You are in their subconscious, not by will, but by divine design. When a chosen one loves, that energy becomes an eternal signature. It doesn't end when the connection ends. It expands. It becomes a frequency that moves through dimensions, a resonance that cannot be erased, only felt. They tried to delete your energy like deleting a message. But the universe doesn't work that way. Your essence became part of their energetic DNA. Every time they try to move forward, the universe replays the vibration of what they lost. You were not a temporary lesson. You were the soul contract that rewired their timeline. You weren't just a chapter. You were the entire narrative that gave their life meaning. And now, they're haunted not just by memories, but by the echo of truth your spirit left behind. You became their mirror, exposing their illusions, their insecurities, their shadows. You reflected back everything they needed to heal, and when they ran, they weren't running from you. They were fleeing from their own awakening. But energy doesn't forget. It circles back. It knocks in dreams. It whispers through silence. It reminds them of the divine frequency they mishandled. Now, your energy walks with them everywhere they go. Every new face they meet feels dull in comparison. Every new connection lacks the depth, the electricity, the divine recognition that only your presence carried. That's not obsession. That's divine justice. Spirit made sure they'd never escape the echo of your essence. Because some souls don't realize they've met a divine being until they're haunted by the absence of one. Your energy is the ghost that doesn't fade, not to torment, but to remind. You were heaven disguised as human, and now they live, knowing they mishandled what most people spend lifetimes searching for. You didn't just pass through their life, you recalibrated it, and the echo of your spirit is the sound of their awakening, whether they're ready for it or not. 2. They're feeling what they made you feel. Now, the energy has reversed. The sleepless nights, the restless mind, the ache that gnaws at the spirit. It's all circling back, multiplied. Because in this universe, nothing truly disappears. It transforms, it recalibrates, and it returns. Every emotion they dumped on you, every tear they caused, every moment you questioned your worth, it's now sitting heavy in their own chest. They're feeling the silence they once used as a weapon. The same emptiness they forced on you is now echoing inside them. That cold distance they created, it's become their own isolation. They taste the same bitterness they fed you. Only now, there's no you to sweeten it. This isn't revenge. This is divine symmetry. Because God doesn't miss energy. He mirrors it. And when you hurt someone pure, someone chosen, you're not fighting flesh and blood. You're fighting divine order. You can't break what's protected by light without facing the reflection of your own shadow. They wanted to see you weak, but now they're the ones unraveling. They wanted to feel power, but now they're powerless against the echo of their own choices. That's the cruelty of karma. It doesn't hit when they expect it. It hits when they finally crave peace. And now, when they lay down at night, their mind replays the very moments they dismissed, the words they left unsaid, the love they took for granted. They feel you in their thoughts, like thunder rumbling before a storm. Not because you wish them harm, but because your energy was pure, and purity leaves a permanent mark. They thought they could drain your light and walk away untouched, but the universe always collects its debt. The energy they misused has matured into a mirror, and now they're forced to face what they made you feel, raw, real, and unrelenting. This isn't cruelty, it's cosmic justice. It's divine law balancing the scales. And while they tremble under the weight of their own energy, you stand in silence, healed, grounded, and untouchable. Because you learned what they never did. In the quantum realm, love and pain are frequencies, and whatever you send out always finds its way home. 3. Spirit made you unreachable. The same door they slammed shut in arrogance is now locked by divine decree. They thought they ended you, but in truth, they triggered your ascension. You didn't just move on. Spirit removed you from their reach. You became hidden in plain sight, visible to the eyes, but unreachable to the soul. They can scroll through your memories, but they can't touch your energy. They can talk about who you were, but they can't access who you've become. Because the frequency you now move in, they no longer have the clearance for. Spirit raised your vibration to a level their shadow cannot enter. You are guarded by divine law, a force far greater than apology, manipulation, or regret. When God elevates a warrior, he also builds walls no human hand can break. And you, chosen one, have been fortified in silence. You became the storm they can't predict, the energy they can't decode. You became spiritually encrypted, invisible to those who once tried to exploit your light. They see your glow, but it burns their ego now. They feel your presence, but it reminds them of the power they mishandled. They reach out energetically, hoping you'll feel the pull. But Spirit has shielded your field, sealed your frequency, and protected your peace. Your detachment is not indifference. It's divine enforcement. Heaven drew a boundary that cannot be crossed. Because when they misused your heart, they didn't just lose you, they lost divine favor. And no prayer of regret can unlock what arrogance once slammed shut. Now your absence speaks louder than your presence ever could. Your silence has become their haunting. They feel it, that heavy void where your energy once lived. That's not emptiness, that's judgment through distance. You are no longer accessible, not because you're bitter, but because you've ascended into purpose, a frequency where only the aligned can reach. That's divine justice, not vengeance, but separation by vibration. Spirit didn't just remove you from their world. Spirit made you unreachable. 4. God doesn't miss energy. Chosen one, understand this. God is not blind to energy. He counts every tear, every betrayal, every ounce of pain you carried in silence, every moment you were misunderstood, every time your loyalty was mocked. It all registered in the divine balance sheet of the universe. And when God moves, He doesn't move in emotion. He moves in precision. Every tear you shed was not wasted. It was a seed, buried deep in spiritual soil. While they thought they buried you, they didn't realize they planted you. And now, those seeds have grown into divine justice, not revenge, but restoration. Not out of anger, but alignment. You didn't need to lift a finger. You didn't need to plot, argue, or prove your worth. You just healed. You transmuted pain into power and wounds into wisdom. And in that process, you ascended beyond their reach. You became too high vibrational for their karma to even graze your field. Because when you operate from soul, you rise above the gravitational pull of their low energy. Now they're realizing that what they did to you, they ultimately did to themselves. They threw stones at light and now dwell in the shadows of their own actions. They cursed your name, and now your name echoes in their conscience. That's divine reversal. Not because you asked for it, but because divine law always returns energy to its source. God never forgets alignment. He never misses frequency. He saw your patience when you could have sought revenge. He saw your restraint when your pain demanded a response. And He decided your silence would speak for you louder than any retaliation ever could. Now you walk in power they can't touch. Your peace is proof of divine protection. Your glow is their reminder that God's justice doesn't shout. It shows. And while they wonder why nothing feels right anymore, you're thriving in the very light they tried to extinguish. Because here's the truth, warrior. You never needed to avenge yourself. You were chosen to embody God's vengeance, not through destruction, but through evolution, through unbothered ascension, through peace so radiant it blinds those who tried to dim you. So when they think of you now, it's not nostalgia they feel, it's accountability. Their spirit remembers every frequency they mishandled. And in that remembrance, justice is served. You didn't lose. You were refined. You didn't fall. You were forged. And now, every breath you take is proof that divine energy never misses its mark. Comment: God never misses energy. My peace is divine retribution. 5. You didn't have to do anything. You didn't chase them. You didn't expose them. You didn't beg them to understand your value. You simply disappeared into your purpose. And that silence, became the loudest roar of all. Because real power doesn't scream. It radiates. It doesn't demand attention. It commands it. You pulled back your energy, and the entire frequency of their world shifted. What once felt like control to them turned into chaos the moment your light withdrew. They expected you to fall apart. They waited for you to seek closure, to prove a point, to come back weaker. But instead, you built empires out of the ashes they left behind. You alchemized betrayal into brilliance. You took their rejection and turned it into resurrection. And now, your evolution is their exposure. You didn't have to say a single word. Your glow speaks divine truth louder than any confrontation could. Every achievement, every calm smile, every step you take in peace burns louder than vengeance ever could. Because nothing torments guilt more than watching the one they broke rise higher than they ever dreamed possible. Your success became a mirror, one they can't escape. It reflects every lie they told, every manipulation they tried, every chance they wasted. They can't hate you without hating themselves, because you are now living proof of their failure to recognize greatness when it stood before them. You didn't destroy them, you outgrew them. You became too vast for their limited perception, too grounded for their chaos, too divinely guided for their games. You didn't need to clap back. The universe did it for you through alignment. Now when they see you, standing tall, focused, untouchable, they realize the weight of what they lost. And the haunting truth, they will never again experience the energy they once took for granted. Because you are not just someone they lost. You are someone they'll never be aligned with again. You've ascended realms they can't even perceive. You've become the storm they thought they escaped, now reborn as divine balance itself. Chosen one, your silence became the sword, your peace became the punishment, and your rise, that's not revenge, that's God's justice wearing your face. 6. You were their blessing in disguise. You were never just another person in their story. You were the divine interruption, the calm before the chaos, the mirror that showed them who they truly were. You carried the kind of energy that doesn't just enter lives, it rearranges them. You were healing in human form, sent as an answer to prayers they didn't even know how to voice, but they weren't ready for that kind of light. Your peace exposed their turmoil. Your steadiness revealed their instability. Your honesty burned through their illusions. They said you were too intense, too deep, too much, when in truth, your frequency demanded truth, and they weren't built for that kind of confrontation. They called your empathy weakness, not realizing it was divine restraint. You could have matched their chaos, but you chose to master it. You could have mirrored their manipulation, but you chose alignment. That's what separates warriors from wanderers. You don't fight for validation. You move in silence, knowing your worth was God-assigned. They didn't just lose a person, they lost their spiritual protection, because your presence was an energetic shield. Every time they were around you, their demons quieted, even if they didn't understand why. You absorbed the energy they couldn't face, transmuted it, and still offered them love. That's not weakness. That's divine power under perfect control. Now, they're restless. They chase distractions, temporary highs, hollow connections, trying to fill the void that your energy once balanced. But the frequency of divine love can't be replaced, duplicated, or replicated. It's heaven-coded. And once someone mishandles that, the universe ensures they never touch it again. You were the blessing they prayed for in the dark, but when it arrived, it reflected too much light. It demanded they evolve, and instead, they retreated. Now, they finally understand. Losing you wasn't freedom. It was forfeiting favor, because you weren't just sent to them, you were sent through them. A divine catalyst, a reminder that not everyone who crosses your path is meant to be kept. Some are meant to be awakened. And now, while they chase ghosts of your energy, you walk as proof that God hides his strongest vessels behind misunderstood souls. You were never ordinary. You were chosen. And they'll spend lifetimes trying to forget what heaven once trusted them with. Comment. I was the blessing they mishandled. My energy was divine, not disposable. 7. Their karma is awareness. Awareness. That's the sharpest blade in divine justice, because when truth finally hits, it doesn't whisper, it shatters. And now, they're standing in the ruins of their own choices, finally seeing who you truly were. They see your value now. They see your power now. They see the divine hand that was over your life all along, the protection they once mocked, the purpose they once dismissed. Every word they used against you echoes back, heavy with consequence. Every doubt they projected is now a mirror, showing them their own reflection, while your name carries the energy of ascension. They thought they broke you, but now they realize they were never even in your league. You were operating on divine frequency. While they were playing survival games, they see it now. The way you move differently, the way your energy bends reality. They see that you were sent to heal them, but they weren't ready for truth that deep. And that's the real punishment, awareness without access. They can remember the warmth of your presence, but can never stand in it again. They can scroll through your glow-up, but can't feel your energy anymore. They can dream of your light, but wake up in their own shadow. Because Spirit closed that door with finality. You are untouchable now, not because you hate them, because you outgrew them. Your vibration evolved beyond what they can comprehend. You became the consequence of their choices, the divine reflection that shows them what alignment looks like when you don't sabotage it. And now, their karma is consciousness, the weight of finally knowing what they lost and realizing it was never yours to lose. They're haunted not by you, but by their own awareness of what they threw away. Because once you've encountered divine energy in human form, everything else feels hollow. So let them watch, let them remember. You don't need revenge when the truth itself is your echo. Your glow is the verdict. Your peace is the sentence. And their awareness, that's the eternal reminder that they had access to divine favor and wasted it. Comment: my glow is their lesson. My energy is divine justice 8. Your peace is their punishment. They expected your destruction. They fed on your pain. They wanted to see you crawl, beg, or break. Anything to confirm the illusion that they had power over you. But what they didn't understand is that when a divine masculine goes silent, he doesn't fall. He ascends. You didn't curse them. Your peace did. Because your calm isn't weakness. It's authority. It's the quiet command of someone who knows that divine justice needs no announcement. You stopped engaging in their chaos. And that's when the universe started working on your behalf. Your peace became their punishment because it stripped them of control. They can't provoke you anymore. They can't reach you energetically. They can't access the version of you they once toyed with, because that version died in the fire they started. And what rose from those ashes wasn't a victim. It was a god in his own right. You became untouchable, not just emotionally, but energetically. Your vibration moved beyond their frequency. Now they stare at your silence and feel their own noise echo back at them. Every time they see your peace, they feel the weight of their own unrest. That's divine reversal. Your calm becomes their chaos. Your light exposes their shadow. Your sovereignty dismantles their illusion of power. They wanted to see you broken. Instead, they're watching you become the blueprint of resilience. You're no longer reacting. You're radiating. You walk through life with quiet dominance, knowing that God defends those who don't retaliate. You've mastered the art of energetic warfare. No weapons, no noise, no anger. Just alignment. Just divine order. Now your existence itself unsettles them. Because peace is the loudest sound to those who live in turmoil. They can't stop thinking about you. Not because you did anything, but because your peace holds up a mirror to their own torment. You've become their karmic reflection, the living proof of what they lost, and the reminder of what they'll never touch again. You are walking divine justice, the embodiment of vengeance without violence, power without noise, and grace that cuts deeper than any sword. You didn't have to destroy them. You simply outgrew them. And in doing so, you fulfilled the prophecy that true warriors don't fight for revenge. They rise in silence and let their peace do the talking. Comment: My peace is power. My silence is divine justice chosen one. You were never meant to get revenge. You are the revenge. Divine, dignified, untamed. You are God's justice in motion. The storm they summoned, now rising in silence and power. Comment: I'm God's justice in motion. My silence speaks louder than revenge. God bless you. See you next time.